This is gonna be a hard hitter, but it needs to be said. You can't expect new things, new possibilities, while you're still holding on to old events and old identities. And the topic of today's discussion is going to be that you're going to have to let the old you go for the new one to fully come into being. And I say being in the true sense of the word, because you have to embody that state, just as you embodied all that pain and all that bitterness and all that anger. And I'm not dismissing any of it, not at all, in any way, shape, or form. But I have to use that to drive my point home here. Just as what Christ said when new wine cannot fit into old wineskins, and that was really a salient point to me on my own journey. Something that I really didn't understand the first time I read it, but now it's starting to make more sense to me. Is that you really can't expect for the new to unfold while you are still quite literally stuck in the past, and you are still having the same inclinations that you used to have, having the same responses, the same thought patterns, right? The same self-talk, same mental speech. That that cannot work. Those two do not go together. They're fundamentally diametrically opposed, and it will not work. For the new to finally have its place, the old has to be dismantled entirely. And the way for it to be dismantled entirely, excuse me, is for you not to identify with it anymore. For you to, like, when it does come up, because it will come up, especially when you're trying to step into the new, and I know how painful it can be. You can almost feel like you're having imposter syndrome at first, because that's what it might even seem like. And your nervous system is screaming at you, right? What are you doing? This is uncertain. This is uncharted territory. Don't do this. All that is the voice of the old man, the voice of the old you. Okay? It's not about not giving it attention so much as it is about not identifying with it as you once did. Okay? Because if that happened before, you'd be like, oh my gosh, that's true. What am I doing? This isn't a good idea. I'm not in the right place at all, right? But in reality, though, that's That's false. You are exactly where you need to be. The Lord is doing a good work in you, but you must let the Father finish. And for the Father to finish the work, you have to trust in His timing. And you have to continue to move forward and affirm that new identity. And when I mean affirm, I don't mean just say words. I mean embody it. Be that person. Actually be that person. Before you can become something, you must first be it. And the old man, the old you, the old identity, especially the ego doesn't like that at all, will try its best. Okay? To throw in your face all instances to the contrary of, oh, see, you were wrong. Oh, see, it is like that. But again, once you see that that's illusory thinking, and you can see that that's illusory thinking by coming back to the rock of truth, that is the word of God and the presence of the ever living Father. In the presence of the ever living Father, all things are one. All things are one subspecie eternitatis, from the aspect of eternity. I love that saying. I love the Latin of it. I really do. So I'm going to keep saying it. All things are one subspecie eternitatis, under the aspect of eternity. You keep coming back to that. You keep coming back to it as your rock, as your base, as your firm foundation. Okay? And when that storm comes, you just see it for what it is. It's a summer storm. Yeah, yeah. So it's got some potency to it, but it never lasts. No, that's not true. That you're wrong. Like that's fundamentally false. And it's false because it doesn't preach truth. It doesn't preach the word of God. It doesn't it doesn't reside in its own being. It has to constantly persist in a way that has to strive to exist. Okay, swimming against the current, swimming against the current, swimming against the current. That's not how you're supposed to live your life. You're supposed to be. You're supposed to flow. You're supposed to float downstream, right? They don't just say that because it sounds cool. It might sound cool, but it's also actually fundamentally true if you experience it. If you put it, put your, What I want to say is, put your ego aside, basically. That's what you're going to have to do temporarily. And just float. Float downstream. And you will see that it happens through the grace of God. And that there was never anything fundamentally wrong with you. And again, as I've said before, the only thing that was wrong with you, the only thing that was wrong with me, is that I didn't know who I was. I did not know who I was. I was operating in darkness. I was operating in ignorance. I might as well have been walking around with my eyes closed. I was blind, right? And you can still occasionally have moments of that. Obviously, nobody's perfect, right? If all men were angels, no government would be needed. That's true indeed. But all men don't have to be angels to see how to properly conduct themselves in the right way of thinking and to operate with righteousness. We can acknowledge our darkness whilst not being overcome by it. We can convert that into shadow work, like shadow boxing. You know what I mean? Shadow work. And I'm going to continue to advocate for shadow work, and I'm going to make a separate video on that because it really is fundamental into accepting and integrating your own darkness into the overarching light of your psyche. And I do believe it makes you a better person if done correctly and responsibly. I want to make that caveat. If done correctly and responsibly, I fundamentally believe that shadow work does make you a better person. And I'll clarify that in a future video. But as I was saying, the the existence of the old has to slowly taper off. It has to cease. And it will cease altogether in time. In time. Time doesn't exist, but again, just for the sake of this conversation, it has to cease existing for the new to actually come into being. And when I say come into being, I mean fundamentally that is who you are now. That is your identity. Okay? Remember, I am who I am. I am a child of God. I am a son of the Most High. I am an inheritor of the kingdom of heaven. All of these are I am. I am. A statement of identity, an affirmation of pure being. At this exact moment, only this now moment exists. It's all an eternal now. There's no past, there's no present. There's no past, there's no future. There's only an ever present presence. There's only an ever present presence. That's all there actually is. And when you say that, I am stepping into the new man, I am stepping into the new person, I am becoming the new version of who I always was, and I'm putting the old away. You are affirming that to the core of your very innermost being. And you'll feel that on a physical level, you'll feel that on a mental level, you'll feel that on a spiritual level. Spiritual is that is of the spirit. Okay? The overall infinite essence, if you will, what we all are from the mind of God. Mental has to do with the mind and our subconscious and conscious minds. And physical, of course, our physical bodies, which is a vehicle that we use to navigate this life from. Now, when you say that, and you mean it, and you truly, truly mean it, from the bottom of your heart, and you acknowledge that yes, it will be difficult at first, of course, and it's really a practice of consistency, because you're going to be hit with all the different remembrances of who you used to be and how you used to identify and how you used to act and how you would respond. But that's all just echoes of a dying identity. Okay, it needs your attention and your focus on it to even exist. If you don't do that, it's just going to disappear. Because it's like, okay, it's not feeding us. We're not getting anything off of this. He's not giving us our energy. You know what I mean? It's just going to cease. And if you don't believe me, try it out for yourself truly and maintain that consistency, and it will just cease. And slowly but surely, you'll just not. And then you'll get to a point where you have it, right? For an example, like, oh, this is how I would respond, or oh, I'm going into an old thought pattern, and then you want to snap right. I'm trying to snap on camera right now. But anyway, there it is, there it is. Um, and you'll say, oh, that's how I would have responded back then. But now, actually, you know what? Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was really anything wrong with how I acted in that situation. And that person, maybe they might be going through things I'm not sure of right now. And yeah, there's really no reason to get worked up unnecessarily. Boom. Boom. That's the new response. That's the new response. You just did it in real time. Remember that, because that's proof. That's proof right there. You don't need external proof if you have internal conviction, but that external proof, if you will, especially at the very beginning, only at the very beginning, though, really, it'll only bolster that internal conviction even more, because you'll actually see that, okay, I truly am putting new wine into new wineskins, and the old wine into old wineskins, that isn't being entertained anymore. That isn't even in my cellar anymore. It's gone. I've gotten rid of it. I needed to make storage for the new wine. And so for the new to come, the old has to go away. And when the old goes away, it simply ceases to be a topic of not only contention, but actual existence in your mind. And by operating with your inner eye, right? The inner eye in the oneness of God, the ever living Father, you see that the new you was always waiting for you. It was always there. But you had to take that step. You had to really almost stretch out your hand and say, you know what, this is it. I'm grabbing this. I'm claiming this. I am claiming this. Okay, remember, I am claiming this new version of me, because that's who I always was. That old version, that's conditioning. That's programming. That's everybody else. That's them. There's no condemnation there, not at all. But that's them, though. For me to operate in this life while still recognizing the oneness of everybody, the oneness of that we all possess in spirit in terms of God, I have to acknowledge who I am, who I am as a child of God. I have to know that. In order to acknowledge that, I have to know that. In order to know that, I have to understand that. It's almost a piecemeal process, if you will. And that really, it's honestly a domino effect, though, because once the work is started, again, as it's been said in various different traditions and schools of thought, I would imagine, once the work has been started in you, nothing's going to stop it. It cannot be stopped. It's a law. Like gravity. It quite literally is a law. Once the work is started, the inner work, you have to do it. It cannot be stopped. It could be delayed, maybe. Maybe. If you really were running away from it, you would only be hurting yourself at that point. It cannot be stopped, though. So the focal point here and the mission is to just keep it in the front of your mind, and remember, with consistency and discipline, especially at the beginning, that for the new to fully come into being, you have to put away the entirety of the old. The old, it isn't there anymore. It isn't there. People should come to you and they'd be like, I don't even recognize you, man. Like, you changed physically, you changed mentally, all that. Because you did. And the only thing that even changed was understanding. Your understanding went to a whole new plane through the glory of God. And you are now becoming the person that you were put on this earth to be. Okay? And then after that, you just go into the oneness of the Father, the fullness of the everlasting Father, where Christ went. Okay? Where I am going, you cannot go. When we die, we go there. If we continue to have that understanding, the understanding that Christ preached and the teachings that he he tried, he really did, and he succeeded, because if even one person understood it, then that person in turn preached, and it was a domino effect. He did succeed. And when we remember that, we keep that at the forefront of our minds, and we say, okay, I'm putting new wine into new wineskins. I am not seeing the old anymore. I am seeing the new. I am looking at it from the new. And at times I may forget, but I quickly remember again, because the Father will never leave me nor forsake me. The Father will always allow me to remember, because I am his child, and he loves all of his children. Draw near to the Lord will draw near to you. That is a fact, unequivocally so. And when we put that into practice, and it's gonna be frustrating at first, because you're gonna want to go back to the default programming. It's so familiar. It's so ingrained into your psyche that it's gonna feel foreign to do anything else. And you'd be like, what am I even doing? This doesn't work. Like, you're gonna a million excuses, right? The funny thing about that though is you can have a million reasons not to do something, but you only need one reason to do it. Only one reason to actually do it. And that one reason will make all the difference. That reason is God. And that reason is that you were not meant to be put on this earth to suffer and to deny who you are and to go with that conditioning, go with that programming, to swim against the current because everybody else is doing it, right? That doesn't correlation doesn't equal causation. Correlation never equals causation. That's not a justifiable reason to do anything. Okay? You're put on this earth to understand who you are, to understand who you are in the sight of the Father. And once you understand that, you quite literally have to live your life in a new manner. You have literally died, and you've rose again, just as Christ rose. You are risen. You're no longer dead, just as Lazarus rose. You're not dead anymore. You were dead in your ignorance. You're alive in your understanding. Dead in your ignorance, alive in your understanding. You've undertaken the alchemical process experientially. Congratulations. That's a fantastic accomplishment. You should genuinely be proud of that. And you should always remember it when you're feeling feelings of discouragement and fear. That's illusion. That's illusory thinking brought on by who you previously were. You are no longer that anymore. You are the new. And the new is who you always were. It was only clouded, only hidden by a cloud of ignorance. That cloud has dissipated. Now you are standing in the unconditional light of the sun, and you're being bathed in it. And it feels wonderful. It feels glorious. You feel like that's exactly where you belong. And it is. It is where you belong. This world, and the people in it, and everything else, whether for better or for worse, it almost seems that they will try to make you forget that. But even that is illusion, because you can never even forget it. It's always there. Always there. When you live from that standpoint, others will see it. They may not understand it on a conscious level, but they'll they'll perceive that. Absolutely. That's a highly energetic change. Your energetic signature has like it's blown up. Now you're operating off of, the most high. The most high is in you right now. And you're walking with light and your face is shining just like Moses' face was shining. The same light that shone on the face of Moses shines on your face. The same light that shone on the face of Moses shines on my face. Shines on all of our faces if we only look. All we need to do is look and accept and be prepared to walk in that light for the remainder of our finite time on this earth. Fullness with the Father, that's the ultimate fate. Oneness with all, that's union, right? But for that to happen, and for you to experience that while you continue to walk this earth, you have to let the old die. The Father's got you. Let it go. It's been crucified. We've all been crucified with Christ. The one who was crucified isn't the same one who comes out of the tomb. The one who was crucified died. He was crucified. He passed away. The one who came out of the tomb, he's a riser. He's a new creation. Such creation does not conform to the old ways, the old patterns. It's transformed. It's transformed. So when you are feeling hesitation, anxiety, doubt, fear, almost impotency to really live your life, remember that all of those negative emotions are merely summer storms. They can be experienced. And they can be felt, but they need not be identified with, because they are not the truth. The truth is the light of the Father. The truth is the everlasting presence. The truth is that the new creation stands in fundamental union with all, because the all that is in all is all. And since you are in all, there is no separation, there is no division, there is no conflict, there is no strife. There is true peace, and there is, above all else, love. And for that to be had, in the possession of the soul, you have to let the old go. You can do it. You can be who you always were meant to be. Remember, always remember who you are. Blessings.